All right, all right. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. This is the Not Front Office Material podcast by way of the Compton Edition podcast. I know I've been a little inconsistent in and out in reference to the amount of content I produce and how I produce my content. But what a lot of people don't know is I help a lot of other people out um, in their endeavors as they are trying to, do the best they can with this media thing. Um, we create a lot of logos here. All of the logos that will be dancing on the screen there were created by me at some point in time. That used to be something that I did a lot, but not so much anymore. AI handles a lot of that. So all the hours I used to spend on graphic art and learning Photoshop and all the things that go along with that are pretty much no longer, it's null and void. So that's the Compton Edition. This is my logo for the podcast that we're pushing. Smoke Brothers is a barbecue company that my partner and I, we cook. We love to cook. I love to cook at big events. Let me correct that. I don't like to cook all the time. I like to cook at big events. So jazz festivals, motorcycle events, that type of stuff. Anytime we're going to see several thousand people at an event, I tend to like to, do those events. I'm not a cook on the corner kind of person. I'm not into the street meat type of play. So you're not going to get me. I'm not going to be on the corner often. Every blue moon, say we did an event and we had food left over or food still needed to be cooked, then we might do the little street thing. But I'm not a big street meter, to be honest with you. So that's not something that I do. But I'm gonna keep saying it. NFOM is not front office material. We're gonna be pushing some new content this year under the NFOM brand. I think I want to do all of my reactions under the NFOM brand, so it's not front office material reactions. We'll be doing some different types of reactions where most people are doing the reactions on the LA podcast scene, or I see it. Maybe I see that a lot because this is here and it's in my feed. But I'm not necessarily, I watch that already. So I don't, and it's a lot of attention being drawn to that type of content. So I want to draw to a different type of content. So, yeah. I want to focus on some of the conversations by people that may not get light in the circle that I'm in. So I want to show some light or do some reactions to some Claude Anderson videos. I think a lot of people could benefit from the wisdom that Dr. Claude Anderson has. Dr. Boyce Watkins in the Black Business School. I think another brother that's doing amazing things on his own, pushing the independent platform and actually successful. So it's a lot of different content. Hey, I've even noticed a difference in Charleston White's content. Yeah, he hits you with the salaciousness and the shock jock value and the Uncle Ruckus persona. But once you peel back those layers, I've seen a couple recent interviews where I was really impressed by some of the things that Charleston was saying, his background and who he is and where he stands. And I tend to agree as a 51-year-old Black man, African-American, FBA, I don't resonate with what people that's 23, 21, 22 years old are doing. I got kids older than that. So no, I'm not gonna. I mean, it all comes with maturity. And so as people grow, you expect them to grow in the things that they do and mature in their thought process and how they handle and deal with people. So getting to the topic at hand, the race relations in LA. There has been several polarizing periods in LA where people have an opportunity to come together, and these same opportunities have been perfect for people to display dissension and the differences. Now, as human beings, we all have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 legs, 2 arms. God has blessed us with, all of our extremities and everything that we're supposed to get in our initial package. The differences are small. Hair, skin color, or hair texture, skin color, lips, eyes, nose, eye color, the size of your nose, your ears, these type of characteristics and traits. Some become racial characteristics or traits, specifically your color or coloration or lack thereof. Black people, some Black people, not all, are known for big lips. I would be one of those. It's a characteristics. We are known for having broad noses. That's genetics. That's evolution. Originally, Black people came from the continent of Africa, where the air is a lot hotter. You notice that Europeans' noses are not as broad, but they're thin and big in its own way, because the air that you breathe in has to be cooled down so it don't dry out your system. Some of the features that we have as a race could be attributed to the environment that our ancestors were raised in or lived in at the time. So when little kids are teased because they got big lips or a fat nose, or you just stress the fact that, Black, you Black, and that's a bad thing. These racial, these are the things that shape who we are, whether good or bad. I had an opportunity early on to grow up and go to school in Bellflower. Bellflower is a small city outside of Los Angeles. And at the time I was there, it was predominantly white city. I had an opportunity to go to, I think, kindergarten to third grade in Bellflower educational system. After that, we moved back to Compton. When I got to Compton, because I was raised outside of the Compton Unified School District, when I got back to Compton, I tested really high and was put into what Compton used to have, which is a gifted and talented program. Basically, the cream of the crop of each class would be grouped together, and that class would kind of learn together. And I get it. Similar kids with similar learning styles or learning capabilities should probably be learning together, so that kids that learn at a slower pace would not slow the faster kids down, and then the faster kids would not intimidate the kids that were having a harder time catching up or keeping up with the lessons. But in those classes, all the way back to the third grade, I've always had Mexicans in my classes when I was in Compton. These have been my neighbors since the third grade. When their kids have quinceañeras and birthday parties, yeah, we hear the music till 4 in the morning, but they also offer us corner asada plates. They make sure grandma got something to eat, you know, solid, good people. It's not about black, white, Mexican, brown. It's just good people, neighbors, people I live with, rub shoulders with. My kids play with their kids. In the hot summer, we turn the water sprinklers on, all the kids play. We happen to have a big front yard. They play football in my yard. They ride bikes. Okay, kids play soccer. I ain't never played soccer a day in my life, but they play in the yard, and it's okay. I haven't got to the point where I'm like, get off my grass yet. In the last month, with ICE raids as close as Paramount on the borderline of Compton, right here at Home Depot, is a big thing. The city of Compton stood up in solidarity with Paramount, with the Mexicans, immigrants. We got all these titles for people, human beings. In the first couple of weeks, I saw numerous videos, and I'm gonna call them outside agitators. Some black, some white, some brown. But most of them didn't live here in Compton, in LA, or the surrounding cities. I seen people talking about what was going on in Ghana. I seen people talking about what was going on in Texas, in Atlanta, in New York, Washington, D.C. Everybody had an opinion about what was going on in Los Angeles. And all of the thumbnails, Latinos are angry with African Americans. Why? How could you let them take us and you don't care and you don't jump in? It was like the narrative was being pushed as if Latinos were looking for African Americans to save them, for FBAs to save them. Now I know that's a big stretch. And I know the Latino community was not looking for African Americans to save them. Shit, we can't save ourselves. And that's probably why ain't nobody asked us for no help, because our track record is a little bad. As it relates to rights and advancement, one thing I think we need to do is stop speaking in such large generalizations. I cannot speak for all African Americans. I cannot speak for all FBAs. And no Mexican can speak for all Mexicans. I just told you that I've been dealing with Mexicans and Latinos, Mexicans specifically since the third grade. We share so much in our communities. We share poverty. We share heartache. We share joy. We share problems. We listen to the same LA County Sheriff helicopter that hovers over our head at night. I just don't think that outsiders should be speaking the narrative about what's going on in Los Angeles. Now, I have my own reservations about partnering or not partnering. But ultimately, I think we are stronger when we work together. Here's a very, very important thought. We don't have to be best friends to work on a common goal. We don't even have to be in the same profession to be headed in the same direction. I'm very surprised I have not heard others bring up what I'm about to propose. And it's just a thought. It's just me thinking. It's me trying to be as international in an NFOM way. How would a not front office material individual resolve some of this issue? Well, it's real simple. It's a transaction. It's a transaction. Latinos need immigration reform. You want to bring back some of the laws that the Obama-Biden administration brought into place, some of the securities and protections that were provided for Latinos. And I will always say Latinos as opposed to Hispanic. I grew up with Mexicans and Latinos, and the word Hispanic was created by the United States for the purposes of the census. How can we group all of these people from Latin countries? It would be a mess to be saying, oh, Cuban, Mexican, Argentinian, Belizean. To America, you all are Hispanic. I know a lot of Latinos that wouldn't dare call themselves Hispanic because that is a label created by the United States Census Bureau. Getting back to that. I'm old now, but I still believe that I'm a revolutionary at heart. I have no ill will towards no black man, no brown man. As long as you don't harm me and my family, I'll work with just about anybody. I'm not a fool. I don't believe that all skin folk is kinfolk. Just because you black don't mean we working in the same direction or walking in the same direction. You might be walking me down to the catcher so you can receive your reward. So no, I don't trust all people with a dark hue or complexion. You would be a fool. I'm not going to worry about who not walking in the same direction I'm walking in. What I will do is focus on the people that's walking with me, that's going through the struggle and trying to produce positivity and build generational wealth for our families. I recently had an opportunity to create a cryptocurrency blockchain course. will be in the Nickerson Gardens July 23rd, 24th, and 25th, if I'm not mistaken. I was just brought in on a project, so I am helping with the curriculum. And I was just told that I may need to teach the class one day. It's a 2-hour course for young people age 14 to 25, I believe. It might be 12 to 22. 12, I'll get the numbers. I'll get the details. Like I said, the project just fell in my lap, and I was more than happy to participate and be a part of it. I will be curating the curriculum. And then, like I said, one day I may even have to sit in and perform teaching educational duties. And that's not a problem with me. Anybody that know me know I love education. I'm also co-founder of a nonprofit, Building a Better Future, with my partner, Charles Woods Jr. Shout out to Chucky, a longstanding member of the community in Compton. And between the both of us, we represent both sides of the African-American FBA street scene, so to speak. Although I would never associate myself as being a street dude. I grew up in the streets. I maneuvered the streets. I even played and wanted to be a part of the streets for years. But the bottom line is I'm a nerd. I've always been a nerd. I've embraced my nerdness. Sometimes you just gotta, accept who you are and roll with that and just be the best of that. There's no shame in not being the biggest, baddest dude on the block. There's no shame in not being a killer. Our society pushes and celebrates the bad stuff, but that's all smoke and mirrors. And we'll get into that in the further episodes, in the future, as we break down and dissect how racism, white supremacy works and how it's implemented within our communities to work against us. But not on no soapbox today. So we're going to work on that later. Today, what's important to me in getting back to these ICE raids, the recruitment campaign to secure ICE agents is a smooth deal. In President Trump's big, beautiful bill, it's proposed that ICE agents would receive or recurring or people that were agents at some point and maybe retired or switched when it's a private industry. They're recruiting them back with $10,000 a year bonuses. And it's not just 1 year bonus. Some officers are eligible up to 4 years of $10,000. I think it's $10,050, $10,500. I'm sorry, per year, up to 4 years, for a total of I think 42 to 44,000 back and forth somewhere in there. That's a sweet deal. That's a sweet deal. Usually, you only get bonuses when you work in the corporate world. I don't know law enforcement to get bonuses unless you FBI, something like that. But regular law enforcement agents, I don't know that they get bonuses, because bonuses are usually based on revenue that a company makes at the end of the year. And if it's a government organization with a budget, there's no revenue to be made. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but if somebody see this and they feel inclined to put it in the comments and correct me, by all means, correct me. I'm not above correction. This is all fun. We're having a good time. I'm trying to get into a space where we produce this content and it's just easy breezy. Before we go any further, I want to take a few moments to advertise Code Bias. I wrote this book, Code Bias. What is Code Bias? What's in the data? Okay. Code Bias is a book that I wrote about coding AI specifically. AI, in its early inception, proved to be typically racist in reference to people of darker hues. Once again, you can find this book on Amazon right now. It's available. It could be shipped out within this, depending on when you order it, it could be shipped that same day or within the first 48 hours. But this is a really good book. It dives into how AI and machine learning can be used against people of darker colors through facial recognition, through algorithms with law enforcement, healthcare AI and algorithms. It could definitely be detrimental in diagnosing people if the proper data is not training the models. Okay, so it's a very good read. It's not a long read. It's about 125 pages of good, solid information. So when you get an opportunity, hey, support me, support the channel. The book is actually sponsoring some of the other shows that we're doing with the funds that come in. So you can get behind it. It's actually a solid read. It's good to know information right now. If you ever wanted to know about AI and how AI is affecting our community, this book, as well as AI from a Black Guy, I suggest both of these books. Both of these books are available on Amazon right now. Check us out. Now, back to what we were saying about the ICE agents and the $10,000 a year bonus. That's a good situation. Here's where they're setting their people up for the win. When you look at the vast majority of law enforcement, it's the vast majority of the population of the United States, white Anglo males. Now, in the larger major metropolitan cities, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, Phoenix, Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, New York, Atlanta, Miami. You're going to have a nice mix of everything when you have these metropolitan cities, but it's rural America that is the backbone of what makes things happen around here. It is the farm workers. It is the farms. It is the people that own the land, acres and acres and acres of land. When you're in urban sprawl, you might buy 1/8 of an acre or 1/2 an acre to put your house on. These people have 500, 600, 700, maybe even 1,000 acres. Land is where the power is. Land is where the power is. But getting back to how they set themselves up, a lot of Blacks, FBA teens, Latino teens, due to how we live in the communities and the poverty that we're around, we get in trouble at an early age. A lot of times our parents are working, we don't have no supervision. And so you have kids raising themselves and doing a lot of things and finding out and making mistakes that potentially could follow them for the rest of their lives. You're 12 years old, your mama work at night, and you get in trouble and you steal something and you go to juvenile hall for 2-3 years. Lord forbid you get into a fight and you hurt somebody. You go to jail for 2-3 years and you have a juvenile record. I've heard about people being able to seal their juvenile records, but I doubt very seriously if they're going to be able to become officers. They can't become officers, they don't become eligible for the bonus. You see where I'm going with this? Not only are we not eligible, but a lot of us, we're taught to hate the police department. I don't think we should hate the police department. We should deal with the bad apples or the bad officers that don't follow policy. And when policy does not work to the better to the advancement of the community, then you change the policies. That's the electoral process. That's putting people in office, and that's letting those people that you put in office know that these are the things that we need to do to help our community, Black and brown. I love the fact that this city, for the most part, we don't have that major Black-brown issue. We have spells, and we have ongoing issues here. I'm not going to say we don't, but there are issues that we can handle internally. A blogger in Africa, which I appreciate the sentiment, but that would be like me trying to dissect something going on in South Africa. And as much as I think I know about the Israeli-Gaza situation, I don't. I'm not there. What I do know and what I do see is as an FBA, I can empathize and relate with people that have been victimized. That's not really the word. We'll double back to that one. But getting what I was getting at is the fact that when we get in trouble at an early age legally, and we don't have the money or the means to pay for lawyers, and we end up having to go with the public defender, and the public defender tell you, well, you don't have the money, and I'm gonna talk to him, and I can see if we can just get you this, take this case, and no time or low time. When it could probably be fought and dropped if it was a qualified lawyer in place. But going back to not getting in trouble in the first place, going to jail is not a rite of passage of FBAs, males. I'm gonna do going to jail is not a rite of passage for FBA teens or Black males, period. We living in an age when it's survival of the smartest, not survival of the fittest and the strongest. You take your ass to the gym and work out, but you need to work this brain out. ICE raids, man, they taking people grandparents. Trump said they was going for criminals, MS-13s. They taking people grandparents. I seen on the news a dude been over here 30, 40 years working at the gas station, the same gas station for 30 years. And they showed up and took that man on a Friday, and by Saturday night, he was in Tijuana. Lucky his family lived here in Los Angeles. What if that was somebody from Texas or Chicago or Atlanta? And within 48 hours, they were in Tijuana. Do you know what type of trauma that could cause a family? You think they didn't do this on purpose? They take the breadwinners out of the home. 60, 90 days later, these people are getting evicted because the people that are left cannot pay this high-ass LA rent. It's not just the people that were deported. It's their entire family structure that's being affected. And you don't have no empathy for that? My community said, FBAs, man, y'all didn't stand up for us. I didn't see y'all marching with Black Lives Matter. And I'm not going to get on here and say, well, I ain't seen none. Every black person didn't go for Black Lives Matter. Yeah, but every last one of us could have benefited from Black Lives Matter if it would have worked like the people that put it together or designed it, planned it to be. It's transactional. At the end of the day, it's transactional. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Latinos need help with immigration reform. African Americans, I'm not going to just say FBAs because everybody don't identify as an FBA. But if you say blacks, African Americans, descendants of slaves, stolen people, that's what I'm talking about. Let's make this transaction. You need help with immigration reform? We have a voting block. If we can ever get that voting block to be a block, we're so divided within ourselves. Some of the stuff we have to let go and look at the bigger picture. But if we could get that voting block together, it's about 12, 13, squeeze 14%. And the Latinos combine your vote. I'm not exactly sure what that number is. If somebody's in the comments or you see this at a later date, please chime in. Please chime in. I guess I'm supposed to say like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We firing it up. So yeah, like it, subscribe it. Are these the type of conversations that you would like to be involved in? We can set it up. We can send out invites. We can open up panels. We can take call-ins. It's just the beginning. But these are the things that we need to talk about. It's all transactional. It's all transactional. What do we need? And we can't agree on this either. Because we got our talented 10th that made some money. And so they figure we begging. But we need reparations for slavery. We were never given our just due. I don't think we ever agreed on what that just due was. But I think it's time to cash in with some interest. And so if you want to wrap around an idea for unity, it's transaction. We help you with your immigration issue. You help us with our reparations issue. We all win. We become stronger and we build. We're not as separate as people would like us to be. Like I said, I've been living with Mexicans since the 3rd grade. I was born at Manuel Dominguez. Well, I don't know if it's Manuel, but Dominguez Hospital. Went to Manuel Dominguez High School. And then I went to Cal State Dominguez Hills. So Dominguez runs through me. How can you grow up in Southern California and not like tacos and burritos? It ain't even about no cliche. As African Americans, FBAs, we eat tacos and burritos at least once or twice a week. It is in our DNA at this point. Let me read word for word about this ICE stuff that I grabbed off the internet. It's quite a bit. It says increased funding and hiring. The recent signed One Big Beautiful Bill provides significant funding increases to ICE, enabling them to expand operations and hire more personnel. This expansion includes plans to hire 10,000 new agents over the next 4 years. 10,000 new agents. $10,000 agents, 50 states. Okay. Recruitment and retention incentives. To attract and retain staff, ICE is offering various incentives, including up to $50,000 in signing bonuses. This includes a $10,000 bonus upon returning to service, an additional $10,000 if the application is submitted by August 1st, 2025, an annual $10,000 bonus for up to 3 years for those participating in Operation Return to Mission. So the money is returned to mission. What is the mission? To deport all illegal immigrants? Okay. Retention bonuses. Exiting agents and those with U.S. Customs and Border Protection are eligible for a $10,000 a year bonus for the next 4 years. So not only ICE agents, but U.S. Customs and Border Patrol are also eligible for an extra $10,000 a year for the next 4 years. If you are FBA and you do not have a criminal history, go get some of this money. Damn everything in our community that tells you that the police are the enemy. The police are the enemy because it's not enough of us over there. Go get some of that money. Be a part of the change. You fuck around and go to jail for some tickets in the county jail, all you see is Latino officers. Get your ass in there and get some of that money. If you have a legal, clean background and there's nothing that's going to exclude you or keep you away from getting a steady job where you can raise your family, I'm not against people become batteries in the matrix. If you make the choice wholeheartedly. Some people don't want to be business owners. Some people don't want to put the world on their shoulders. Some people want to go to work, make a decent living so they can buy a house, a couple cars, and enjoy all the beautiful things that living in America can provide you. There's nothing wrong with that. Be a good, positive member in society. They handing this money out. I would be curious to know the racial breakdown over the next 4 years of how that 10,000 agent worked out and who received the money on the racial breakdown. If you think some of these things that we're talking about are important, this is not front office material news, and we're speaking about what's going on in the news and how it relates directly to us. NFOM. They got what they call dual compensation waivers. Former federal workers, such as retirees, can retain their pension payments and benefits while receiving their new ICE salary. So, I see where they would do this. They're building a 10,000 man ICE army. You want to recruit knowledge and experience. So we have ex-agents that have retired. Now you're going to pay them that new salary plus the $10,000 bonus, plus they get to keep their pensions that they're already receiving. So if that might have been 60, 70, 80,000, 100,000, depending on how the agent saved his money or set up his retirement plan. He's pretty much a consultant, but he's coming on at damn near full salary under the Trump regime with this big, beautiful bill. Man, y'all pay for these people. Y'all voted these people in here to get rid of your grandparents. This next statement might be a little controversial, but I mean it, and I'm asking earnestly with my heart. And we have the same thing in our community. In our community, we'll call them Oreos. People that look black on the outside, but truly in the inside, they think, function, and move white. In high school, I was in the Upper Bound program, and we had a beautiful opportunity to experience other groups of people. I went to Dominguez, I told you that. In this program, we went and lived at UCLA on the summer, we went to class 6 weeks at UCLA, gained credits towards graduation. But more importantly, we had an opportunity to experience different cultures, be exposed to college campus, which would give us an opportunity to aspire to go and continue our education careers, because we would not be intimidated. We would actually be inspired. In 10th and 11th grade, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, every summer I went up and lived in Hedrick Hall at UCLA. And we interacted with Mexicans from Roosevelt, Lincoln, East Los Angeles schools. And what we did is we learned about their culture because we were living in the dorms together, going to classes together. They learned about us and our culture. It was pushed. It was a different time. It was with the black medallions and the fists and all that good stuff. Queen Latifah, ladies first. It was a different time. X-Clan, people were really, really proud to be Black. The Cosby Show was on. Man, you had all of the Black colleges had a bump in students that wanted to go to Black college just because of watching the Cosby Show and the spinoff A Different World. We had that. Now these kids is watching National TV and Zeus Network, watching these beautiful young girls go on there and beat each other's head in until they get concussions for entertainment. Girls. At any point in time, I know nobody's really listening and watching right now because we just getting fired up and having an opportunity to even advertise, and we're doing some testing. But if this type of content, it's a content that, you know, might be in the air. Chime in, hit the like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Give me an amen, or nigga, you don't know what you're talking about. Tell me something. Talk to me. Getting back to the controversial question, though. How can you second and third generation Mexicans? I don't know about Cubans. I don't know about Puerto Ricans. I don't know about Dominicans. I grew up in Compton. We shared our community with Mexicans. How could a second, a third generation Mexican that moved from East Los or Compton, Linwood, Paramount, Southgate, Commerce, how could your grandparents and great-grandparents came over here illegally. They did what they needed to do to make sure that each generation was able to step further and further away from poverty conditions. You make it to the other side of the 605, Whittier, Rancho Cucamonga, Chino, Costa Mesa, and you turn your back on your family and vote with Trump. To be adjacent with people that they don't like you. They don't care for you. They tolerate you more than they tolerate us. They tolerate you a little bit more than they tolerate us. And the ones of y'all that have been hanging around us, they don't tolerate them like they don't tolerate us either. The more docile you are, the more mousy you are, and I'm a person that honestly I don't believe in all that loud and ghetto behavior. You be quiet. You let somebody think they winning because they running their mouth. The first opportunity to get you down and going about your way. And I don't mean down them in the sense of hurting nobody. I mean, get them on the way for that kind of down. Like, no, I'm gonna shoot that down. I'm good. I got it. Even if I got to walk or crawl, I'm gonna figure it out. I got it. You know, what happened to ever having some pride? These are your grandparents and great grandparents. You 2 or 3 generations removed from this right here. I think you guys need to do some soul searching. I support my neighbors. Say whatever you want to say. I support my neighbors. Even when they play their music till 4 in the morning, I support my neighbors. It's a transactional situation. Vote as a block. That's the game they playing, so play it. All I'm seeing is dissension. These people are putting everything in place through Fox News with their racist commentary. MSNBC is they bashing Trump every time they get an opportunity. YouTube is pushing some of the most salacious content I've ever seen in my life. We have outsiders and culture vultures that instigate gang situations in Los Angeles. We have athletes coming at other African-American athletes coming at other athletes, feeling like they have to be a spokesperson for white America and extreme docility, if that's even a word, with the RG3 situation. And the Angel Reese monkey situation, Shaq was completely right. He should punch you in your fucking face. You have a mother. Would you want somebody to call your mother a monkey? And RG3, you really not like Don Juan. So where do you get off? I mean, I'm just saying. You might carry a few more features than Angel Reese do. But who am I? I'm just, a lonely voice on the microphone on the internet. But we talking about a lot of things that are going on in our community. Speaking of the community right now, right here, recently in Boston, Republic Service, the refuge company, has gone on strike. The Teamsters or the union? I'm not sure if it's Teamsters, but it's a union. Has gone on strike in Boston. As a result, other union members have staged a work stoppage in support and solidarity with their brothers in Boston, and I get it. You ask, what am I talking about? Some people, trash truck drivers or refuge truck drivers in Boston, have to do with me in Compton, in the Compton edition, or NFOM, or anything that has to do with us? Well, as a result, Republic Services had a contract for the city of Compton. And as of the 17th of July, they wrote a letter to the city. We'll read that too. If you got a couple minutes, I'll read it for you. The post was updated July 17th, 2025. On Thursday, July 17th, Republic Services informed the city of Compton that regular trash pickup has resumed. The temporary drop-off site for bag trash at 700 North Bullish Road, Compton, California 90221 will be available from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Thursday, July 17th and Friday, July 18th. Republic Services temporary location to drop off bag trash at 2509 West Rosecrans Avenue, Los Angeles, California, will be available from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Thursday, July 17th and Friday, July 18th. Proof of residency must be provided. That's because that location is outside of the city of Compton. Now, that's not resumed. That means you can go take your bag trash to them and they'll take care of it. If you drive around the city of Compton right now, you'll see trash cans and recycle bins and organic waste bins, the green bins, all over the city. All over the city. It's only been 1 week. Hopefully, if this strike goes on for any length of time, the city has some sort of backup plan in place to get rid of some of this trash. Some people don't have cars. Excuse me. And even people that do have cars, I don't think that's a practical solution to put your trash in your car, in your Tesla or your Honda Civic. That's not a practical solution. So hopefully the city has a backup plan or something in place if this strike goes on any serious length of time. I will see if I can get a statement or see if I can get maybe a council member or something, or some official statement other than what was posted as to the progress of what may or could be done in lieu of what we got going on right now. But I haven't seen them so much lately, but I know Compton has had a problem with possums in the past and rodents, and I don't think this here is something that we want to play with for any length of time. That's just my personal appearance, my personal opinion. Possums are nasty individuals, and so you don't want them starting to run freely because the trash is just sitting there for long periods of time. So this is my opinion. Rats, rodents, possums, trash. We need to figure something out. So if the city needs the citizens to do something, just let us know. I'm trying to build this platform to be a voice for the city. So at some point, we can get these numbers up and we can actually start speaking as a block and as a platform as well. So I said it once before, I'm gonna say it again. This episode has been brought to you by Code Bias, written by myself, James Jones II. This book is available now on Amazon. You can get it within 48 hours, pretty much anywhere within the United States. Support the channel, support me, support these endeavors. I have another book coming out I'm working on right now that focuses on IP, intellectual property, for people that are involved in creating content, especially with all this AI movement. This is AI and the code bias, okay? You need to be in the know about what's going on. So the next book will be about intellectual property, okay? And not allowing AI to parlay all your royalties. Check us out. This has been a first of many to come. Tune in, like, subscribe. We got other content coming. We want to send a shout out to Compton Edition Podcast, which is my podcast, the NFOM Podcast, NFOM News, which is what we're doing tonight. And also, I will be jumping into the damn, I just drew a blank. We ain't gonna worry about it. So we also gonna send a shout out to the Compton Bonta Podcast, Whoopty, the Whoopty Radio Show. They are also part of the network, part of the production and what we do here. I produce that podcast as well. We produce the Compton Bonta Podcast. We also assist and help Rennie Loco out on some of her stuff. So shout out to Ain't This About a Bitch Podcast. We love you, girl. And yeah, shout out to the Postman. Keep it up. Keep them numbers going. And we see you.